Dun, 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 dun. Cue the church music. Cue the church jams. Yes, yes, yes. Cue it. The church music. Starting it out right. Is that enough of that? I think it's enough of that. That was fun, though. I enjoy it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Welcome to church, folks. Welcome to Microphone Church. It's good times. Oh, listen to that. We can turn that off. That was fun, though. That was good timing right there. Ah, yes. I love it. I love it so much. I love that everybody gives the prayer hands. That's is wonderful to me. I feel like it's a little clippy there. Not clippy, but just kind of, is that better? I feel like in my streaming software, it's a little loud. Anyways, welcome to Sunday service. It's Sunday. It's been a minute. I wanted to go full church on you, so we went full church. I love the emojis. Prayers up to the obscure mic people. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about today. There's a few things I'm going to talk about today, but for the most part, my throat hurts. I don't know what's going on. It's probably Ohio, 70 degrees the other day. Now it's 30 or 20. Snowstorm after a 70-degree day. That legit happened in Ohio. I am going to talk about the Revelator IO44, which is what is powering the stream today. So we've got that. I'm on a preset right now, relying on you folks to let me know. This is a very bassy preset. I like this preset because I can be back off the mic and it still has some bottom end. But I'm going to turn that preset off with the click of a single button, and this is just flat. This is the Sony C100. And this is just kind of how it sounds. The Sony C100 with no presets, no settings, no nothing. I know it's a very clear microphone, but I don't know how I feel about it. So I figured I would go live on a stream before ever even thinking about doing a video on this microphone. I'm going to switch over to a little bit of a broadcasty preset. That way I also have a noise gate and some de-essing and stuff like that. Thank you guys for joining me for Sunday service. I put around 1-ish, but I just felt like 10 minutes earlier or so, Mr. Grogu, made sense. I just felt like it made sense. I wanted to get that opening intro, the prayer song up. So we did. I want to talk a little bit about, some audio gear. I really want you guys' opinions too. I get a lot of companies that want to send me the Amazon mics. And now finally they don't ask me to buy them and get reimbursed. They just send them. So are we really interested in these? They are obscure. This is from like the sister brand of Lakato. It's a USB microphone. It's very, very basic metal. I believe that it lights up. I think it has some red LEDs in there. But I'm curious, do we care about these? I mean, I kind of like testing every microphone I can find, especially if companies are willing to send them for free. But do we really want these on the channel? I'm not sure. I don't know what the use case is for you guys. Happy daylight savings times. Hello, Mr. Ask Mr. Science, one of the few obscure Mike supporters. Thank you, sir. Yeah, my watch did not want to. Yeah, it does. 10 minutes early does qualify as ish. Absolutely. But these mics, these random USB mics, these Amazon dealios, do we like these? Do we not? What would you like to see this year from Fifine? I would like to see them quit trying to be fancy for streamers. They've got those covered. The Ampler Rocket, the Ampler Game, the Fifine K658. Good job covering the streamers. You got them. I don't think they need any more. So now let's go after the XLR enthusiasts. Let's quit messing around with RGB. Again, they got them. I mean, those mics they're good. They're fine. The K658, Ampler Game, and the Ampler Rocket are 3 different flavors. I've got all 3 of them, or I've had all 3 of them. I think it's time to move forward and create a real professional mic. A really good dynamic and a really good condenser. Maono done that with the AUPM 500, I believe. I mean, they went for it on that XLR mic, so I feel like Fifine should go ahead and do the same. Like, let's switch gears. Get away from the LEDs and the RGBs and all that. Another with a USB-A connector. Yes, sir. Probably not the first one I'm going to get in the next week. I know there's a few more coming. I can't turn these things down, though. Like, whenever a company calls and says, you want to check this out? I'm like, why not? You know, it doesn't take me much to do a video because I'm an amateur. I just throw videos out like nothing so you can hear them. So why not? You know, maybe this is a $20 or $30 banger for somebody. Who knows? I mean, it probably won't be for me, but I can still be surprised and impressed by them. So I keep taking them when they send them. But I am curious to know how you guys feel about it. I've seen actual Fifine television commercials. Wow. I feel like Fifine and Maono or Mawano, whatever you want to call it, those two are kind of in the pole position in that budget streamer podcaster realm. Like the super budget, the stuff you won't find on Sweetwater. Yeah, they're the Amazon forefront leaders, Fifine and Maono. So I want to see Fifine push forward with just some different things. I don't know how I feel about this preset. I don't know how I feel about this microphone. I haven't played with it much. Traded a SM7, a vintage SM7 for this to a great guy named Chris, who's got some great music that I'm going to try to feature on something soon. Excuse my sinusiness. I woke up, I've been fine for like a week and then woke up with this crap. So something else I want to talk about, just point in the direction. There's 2 things I enjoy more than anything. One, obviously, being audio. Not in a professional sense, but I just like playing with microphones, recording stuff. I don't strive to be, Mr. Professional. I just really enjoy it. The other is music. So if you don't follow my Bark channel, just capital B-A-R-K, I really like talking about music. I like giving albums, I like giving albums grades. I like pretending to be a music critic. I really enjoy music. I've done a music podcast for a while, done music things. So on there, I've decided I've struggled for a long time. What am I going to do with my selfie channel, as I call it? Because it's just picture me and it's Bark. What am I going to do with that? I've tried unboxings. I've tried, which was kind of a cool idea, unbox these before they ever get reviewed. But then I'm like, who really wants to watch just an unboxing? Even the good unboxing guys on YouTube still go through the features and demonstrate what sorry about that, and demonstrate what they've got in front of them. So I was like, you know what? I love microphones and music. So doing album reviews, did a Ghost Impera album review, doing just videos about music, opinions about music. I enjoy it. So, if you enjoy anything I do, please go subscribe over there, whether you want to watch it or not. Honestly, being 100% honest, just so I get it monetizable, so I can continue to work on doing these videos more and working at my 9 to 5 less. Just being honest. Don't want to be rich. Just don't want to work for the man. I don't want to work for the man. Damn it. Naughty Bit says I don't mind if they have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to monitor. I am with you there. I know if I'm going to get a mic without the 3.5, I'm probably going to crap on it. So I'm hoping companies eventually realize that they probably shouldn't send over anything without a 3.5, but there's exceptions. The Ampli-Game from Fifine is an exception. It doesn't have monitoring, but I can't say this with 100% conviction. Conviction, that's a word, Sunday service word. But that microphone sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty good, and I was pretty impressed with it. And there are times where I don't have to have monitoring. Like when you know your mic technique and you just use your mic technique and you're by yourself. I mean, it's not 100% necessary. I do some videos at work sometimes. I don't need monitoring there. I just roll with it. So that would be good for something like that. And it is super cheap. So there are instances where I'm not super concerned with latency-free monitoring. But at the same time, just do it. Just do it, man. Just put it in there. I can't tell you what the name of this microphone is. I just got it randomly. Lakato is who reached out to me. And if you don't remember them, they've got the wireless dynamic mic system that I've done. And it actually sounds really good. Like really solid, surprising quality out of that thing. They sent this over. And it's all metal. I haven't even plugged it in or done anything with it. But it does have a headphone jack, I assume, for latency-free monitoring. We'll find out. Who knows? But yeah, it does have the old printer cable. Mr. Science likes to call it an A connector, which is the proper name for it. I like to call it printer. Steve Dave, preach on. La-hee-ho-hee-ho. For those of you who arrived late, you missed the opening hymn from today's service. It was a banger, I will say. Just a glorious church banger. Yeah. But anyways, if you want to check out the Bark channel for some music stuff, Back Row Studios used to be reaction videos and the podcast going live. Podcasting's getting hard. It's getting tough. It's getting oversaturated. The market of not only podcasts and microphones, as me and Bronson talked about on that live stream. I suggest going back and watching that one if you didn't. Over on Audio Hotline, Bronson is awesome. But podcasting is getting tough. I plan on doing a podcast for the members only realm, which I started doing. I've released a whole whopping one, but it was just a week or week and a half ago. But I'm going to do another one of those members only podcast. I plan on doing that tonight. Probably Scooby-Doo style. Probably releasing tomorrow. So that might be one of the only podcasts I end up doing in the foreseeable future. Church banger, I think you need to go to confessional, brother. Hey, the only pleasures in life are literally eating bangers, banging, and there's not many more. Raising kids is kind of a pleasure sometimes, but I'll go to confessional all day long. Let's see. First time catching one of your lives. Thank you, Bresford Productions. I appreciate that. And Lakato has a lab mic with a cardioid pattern. Actual DSP noise reduction. They might have sent that over in an email to ask if I wanted to check that one out. I'll have to go back through and look, and if that is the case, I will. Oversaturated just means there's a market for that content. That's true. But at the same time, I started thinking the other day, like, I love podcasting, yes. But at the same time, here's the truth of the matter. To get a podcast monetizable or realistically monetizable. Anybody can make like 14 cents a month off their podcast. But you've got you have YouTube and you have podcasting. YouTube is so much easier to get listeners and subscribers on than podcasting. And when I have such a problem with co-hosts, because if any of you have ever done a podcast, it is not easy to do one alone, in my opinion. Not at all. By the way, do we like this preset, or do we like this preset with some more bass? Using the Revelator IO44, you can load some presets on it. I feel like this might be too bassy. I'm not sure. You guys let me know. I'll go back to the other preset. But for me, who has limited time, YouTube just seems much better to push content out on than an RSS feed these days, because there are so many. And no matter how good you think your content might be or how many people you push it out to, pushing it out on YouTube is still substantially more fruitful. And I don't just mean monetize wise, I mean fruitful. Like, you can have 5 subscribers and you release the right video with the right content, and it's going to get thousands of views. My most popular podcast took me 3 years to get thousands of listens per episode, and it's still just in between 1,000 and 2,000. So I just feel like it's so much harder for people to find a podcast, because I haven't found any that I love, than it is to find a YouTube channel they love. So it's really starting to jade me in the direction of just going full video and leaving the podcast stuff, not completely alone, but more alone. Let's see. It's always easier and the right time to get in 2 years ago. 2 years ago is the right time. 4 years ago. Yeah, that's when I did a fantasy football podcast. Like, I was like, all right, nobody's doing a dynasty fantasy football podcast. I jump in. It's been almost 5 years ago, maybe it was 4. It did really well, but the Fantasy Footballers, the most popular podcast, those guys started first. They're okay, but they started first. I think that was huge for them. So it's like, is there such thing as getting in too late? I think there is. The Locato Lab even knocks out the cab noise in my semi. Wow, that's impressive. Earbuds, I can use it for my phone. Nobody knows I'm moving. That's pretty cool. I hope that's what they're wanting to send me. Get them in the door on YouTube and drive them to RSS. That's an okay idea, but are they going to follow to RSS? I know there's a lot of people that listen to a lot of podcasts, but now okay, here's another way to look at it. YouTube, common man can get a following. Podcasting, they can, but to a lesser extent, common man or woman. The biggest podcasts are typically celebrity podcasts. I mean, the ones I listen to, Smartless is probably one of my favorite podcasts, even though I'm sick of the whole let's interview celebrities as celebrities format. Gets a little bit old, but that and Conan Needs a Friend are probably two of the only podcasts I even can handle listening to anymore. I know there's ones out there for me, but it's hard to find. So hard to find. But anything I want to find on YouTube, pretty easy to find. So podcasting is starting to I'm starting to fall out a little bit and converting more to just adding more YouTube channels and doing content based around things I like there as opposed to podcasting. Granted, best thing about podcasting, hell of a lot easier to just pump out audio without video. It is what it is. They are different markets. It's hard to move people off their chosen platforms unless there's a value to it. Yeah, that's what I meant by getting people to go from YouTube over to an RSS feed. What are we thinking on the microphone? Do we like the current preset, or do we need that bassier preset? I'm not sure. I mean, I always go for the bassier, but feel like it's so bassy there's a ringing to it. Bit like retailing, do you want to make money or margin on the volume? Yeah, I'm going back to the other. Yeah, I think podcasts are great for the deep niches for sure. And that's where the fantasy football podcast we did was fairly successful, because that's a very specific niche. But I love music, and the Stuck in My Generation podcast, while I'm happy with its growth, I'm having a hard time getting people to host the show with me because life is just difficult, and to do a podcast on schedule is tough. So the current preset, as in the less bassy one, too boomy, same. I was thinking the same thing, but I've only messed around with this Revelator IO44 a little bit. So I haven't really got a whole lot of presets going on in it, but I can demonstrate some stuff for you folks. Let's see. I like being able to just switch over, especially there's the other one, especially just right in software, which I don't have visible for you, but really cool to do that. Do you just want this? Or maybe this? Or this would be good for church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Da, 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 da. Vintage. That sounds weird. And vocal. How's the vocal preset? That one doesn't sound too awfully bad. Now we'll close that out. All right, we'll go back to this preset here. I found Bandrew's episodes here and moved to RSS because the audio is so good. That is true. For the audio quality, that could be true. Be safe. My cat is making an impressive amount of noise, and I'm wondering how that's a thing. I don't know. Too many startup podcasts and even professional podcasts have terrible audio. Yeah, it's tough. Close to retirement with loads of time. Not sure you would like my voice. You never know till you throw it out there. I didn't think anybody would enjoy listening to me talk about anything. But until you actually throw it out there, you don't know. You just don't know. Don't know till you try. And then, I still have people, which is the biggest reward in itself, I still have people tell me that the Back Row Fantasy Show podcast was their favorite podcast ever. And it sucks that I couldn't keep it going. But sports has just faded in a big way for me. So it is what it is. At least I was able to have a podcast that was someone's favorite. That's pretty valuable in my opinion. Thought that was pretty cool for sure. But yeah, if you like music talk, the Bark channel. Hi from Ukraine, Roman. I hope to God you are safe. And I would be surprised if 99% of us are not with you. Roman, are you safe? Let us know how things are going. It's terrifying. I feel terrible for being over here, knowing people are going through that over there. The world sucks. Read my previous comment. I use Anchor for my podcast. I love it because I make money out of my episodes. I do, not that you have to tell me the exact amount, but I am curious to know how much you make off each podcast. Densocronus owned by Spotify. Give it a try. Yeah. Hey, do me a favor and email me at bark@obscuremics.com and shoot me that RSS feed or, something. I don't have an Apple phone, so if you could use anything other than that, whether it be Podbean, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, shoot me over that link. I will listen. Anyone in here, if you want to email me, bark@obscuremics.com, your podcast link, I will check out every podcast I can. I'm always looking for new ones because I really don't have any I listen to, and I'm always wanting to hear one that is good and that resonates with me. And it's typically I find one and it just doesn't last long. I get bored with it or jump ship. Or I was really excited about Dave Chappelle's podcast, and he's released 2 episodes in a year. What the fuck, Dave? Read my previous comments. Yes, I think your voice is too good for mic reviews. It makes every mic sound good and is misleading. Some folks have said that, and it still surprises me because obviously I have an accent, and apparently it's fairly thick. See Booth Junkie too. What sounds bad on that guy? Absolutely nothing. But somebody's got to do it, I guess. Somebody's got to, there has been instances where mics have sounded like garbage when I've reviewed them, so it does happen. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully there is no other 5% in here. But there's crazy people in the world, especially, I shouldn't say especially, but it seems like the States have a lot of really out there folks right now. Maybe that's everywhere. We follow each other on Instagram. Oh, yes, we do. You DM'd me not that long ago. You can do that on Instagram too. Absolutely. Send me your link on Instagram or email. Either one. I'll definitely check your podcast out. I appreciate everybody that listens to me, so why wouldn't I listen to you? Or at least try. At the least. So yeah, absolutely, man. Send that over for sure. And anybody else that's got a podcast or a YouTube channel. There's some awesome guys I've met that have YouTube channels. Scott Paladin. I love that guy's channel. He checks out stuff that I haven't seen, or sometimes checks out stuff I have seen but didn't think to check out. He's really a cool dude with a cool channel. I'm in a bunker in cave. Man, just knowing that you're in a bunker it's just, I'm glad you're safe, but it just sucks, man. I hate that you have to watch this from an isolated space as if COVID wasn't enough. But Roman, thanks for spending your time with me. That's humbling, to be honest. And keep fighting. Like Putin had no idea what he was getting himself into with that one at all. And it's very encouraging and at the same time discouraging, because this world shouldn't be dealing with shit like this anymore. I mean, my God. Are we ever going to be modern enough to not go to war? Enough about that, though. I'm sure that's not why Roman came. But Roman, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Sunday. Keep safe and enjoy every second as far as family-wise. I assume you're with some family down there. But enjoy them the best you can. Silver linings, somehow. Silver linings. But yeah, I don't know how I'm loving the Revelator IO44. I mentioned, I don't remember where I mentioned it. It might have been a members only podcast, but just the digital processing, even though it's front and not back, pre instead of post, I'm still having a hard time with it. I still want knobs and buttons and dials and all that stuff, but I'm trying to modernize my audio setup and audio chain. It's just tough. But my desk, I wish I could show you guys. I could if I took my webcam off, but then the green screen and all that crap. But I just don't have a lot of room in my home office, so a little device like the Revelator is kind of perfect. Any thoughts on this Sony C100? For $1,000 mic, I just feel like it's even though it's smooth, it's just kind of thinnish. Just kind of, there's a such thing as too much clarity, maybe? Am I wrong in thinking that? I don't know. To me, it's just not anything that I plan on keeping. I know it's pretty highly regarded in the rap community, and I get that totally. I think that's why the AT2020 is regarded in the rap community highly, because there's clarity there, and clarity is very important for pronunciation, and there's a lot of, rap is all about certain pronunciations and certain ways to pronounce words, but I don't know if this mic's for me. I really don't. I'd be reluctant to buy hardware that's overly dependent on software. Yes, that's exactly where I'm coming from. Like, what happens if my computer all of a sudden doesn't like the UControl software from PreSonus? Won't open. That has happened to me with other programs before, whereas hardware, the whole thing's breaking or nothing's breaking. With this, the software could break or the hardware could break. So I'm really confused. on where my feelings are for this interface. I also bought the, damn, my suitcase isn't up here. I bought the AudioBox Go from PreSonus as well. That thing's pretty dang cool, pretty small, but it does have the stepping issue that the M-Audio Solo had. So once you get to like 98%, that last 2% is a big jump in gain. It's nothing like the ML Audio, though. It doesn't sound bad when it jumps. It just goes from quiet to good levels with a tiny little twist, which is kind of crazy. We'll say this stream's not going to be extremely long. If there's one downside to streaming with Bronson, it's that that's a lot more fun than doing this by myself. So if I knew he was available today, we'd probably go for it and do a joint stream again. We're going to do that pretty often. I don't know if it's going to be every month, every 2 months, but we're definitely going to do a lot more streaming, me and him, just because we're over 3 years into this, and it does tend to get a little cumbersome. I'm sure you guys have seen Bandrew get a little cumbersome with mic reviews. Like, he's been doing it for twice as long. So it does get a little long in the tooth. Like, I still like hearing the microphones, but setting up and, messing with the lighting, messing with the cameras, messing with all that stuff, it just to pump out a 10-minute video, because there's really no need to go longer on most mics, gets a little boring. Can't lie, I'm enjoying the music review stuff that I'm doing over on my Bark channel. I just need to link that in all my videos from now on, but that's a lot more fun. Did YouTube remove how long the live video has been streaming? I started noticing it missing a few days ago. I don't know. I do not know. That's a good question, though. So there's no indicator on mine how long it's been running? I guess I could look. I had it open a few minutes ago. Yeah, I do not see it at all. So maybe they did. YouTube's weird. As good as YouTube is, and as many features as YouTube has, there's a lot of missteps sometimes, especially when streaming, I've seen. All right. It's a slow one. I don't have much else to say, to be honest. I could look up some new gear and see if there's anything coming before I go, but I wasn't very prepared. I just wanted to hang out for a few minutes before making some music review videos, because I'm just, like I said, I'm so all about that right now. The new Ghost album is just a masterpiece. Seriously, a masterpiece. I don't even like the sound they're going for on that, and they still nailed it. It's got a very 80s vibe. And I'm getting ready to do another review video here shortly with an album with some 80s vibe. Let's see. Any new audio interfaces announced or available? The AudioBox Go is a pretty sweet little device, to be honest. I would rather have it than a Scarlett just because of the size. Let's see. Newest arrivals in audio interfaces. Is there anything new? Survey says no, not that I haven't already talked about in a podcast or a video. Condenser microphones. Is there anything more? In 3, in 2, in 1. Newest arrivals. Sweetwater.com. A Shope stereo mic. No thanks. $4,000. I can't do that. And that's about it. God, those Behringer USB mics sound like absolute garbage. I mean, kind of. They're not as bad as what one channel said they were, but they are pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's see. Microphones. New trend. Grocery unbagging videos. Is that real? Are people really unbagging their groceries on YouTube? I could do that. My wife buys way too many groceries, so I could absolutely do that. Jefferson Hyperplane, what's up? Sony sounds a little crispy to me. It's pretty good, but I feel like it could easily emphasize sibilance. I don't know that I think it's worth the price tag. I definitely don't think it's worth the price tag. I will turn my preset off so you can get unprocessed. Okay. So this is completely unprocessed. And again, the last preset I was on, basically very slight tweaks. Deeper and deeper in love with Lewitt. Lewitt is one of the few microphone companies I probably need to get more on board with. I have not messed with many of their microphones at all, but I suppose I'll get there. It's hard to do some of the... Lewitt doesn't have a lot of what I would deem to be obscure mics. A lot of those are newer. A lot of videos on most of them. God, I really want to get in that Universal Audio SD1, but at the same time, I really don't. I am so torn on that. So torn. I kind of want to get in the PreSonus Revelator mic, just because it's got the same DSP as what this Revelator IO44 has, but it's just a mic. Like, that might be the ultimate travel mic, to be honest. Might be the one. Harrison Kim, question for you regarding Behringer UV1. What do the insert, send, return ports do? And what are some common use cases? Insert, send. I believe, let me pull that up real quick because I don't have it up here in the studio with me, or in the office, not even the studio. And I'm curious to see if that thing's even back in stock yet. I feel like I'm like the only one that got one of those anywhere. No, it's not in stock at all. The return and send, I'm pretty sure that's, I think, don't quote me on this because I don't mess around enough, but I feel like that has something to do with instruments being, kind of like mixing the instruments in and out. Pretty sure it's an in and out. I mean, return and send, same thing as in and out. I'm guessing that the DBX, what is the DBX? We got a line in, we have a line in and a line out, and we have an insert, return, and send. Let's just look it up because I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, patch points. So patching in a mixer. An insert send takes the signal and sends it somewhere else to be processed. And the return puts it right back in the mixer at the same point it was taken from. So essentially, okay, so essentially the return and send, again, don't quote me on this. I think that is to throw your instruments or something else in for processing and then return them to the mixer. So not a simple in, or a simple out. So the in, you can run a mic straight in and then it's going to go into your DAW or just your headphones. But the insert and send, I think, is to process an instrument and take it in and run it back out to the source. So if you got a mixer like the M267 from Shure with 4 mic inlines, run it in, run it out, and get processing on all 4 channels, if I had to guess. Got to get rolling again. Thanks for dropping by. Should be a post pre-patch. That makes more sense. Let's see. On mobile, it says started 34 minutes ago. That's good. Does it say if those send returns are pre or post other processing? It doesn't, but I'm pretty sure on the UV1 it's a pre. I think. Don't know. Haven't messed with it enough. Rarely do I run a bunch of outboard gear into other gear. I don't do a whole lot of music, and when I do it simply. I do one track at a time and mix it afterwards. And my music's not good, so that's probably why. But yeah, I'm going to go grab some food for the children, make some videos for the Bark channel. I'm going to do some videos for Obscure Mics today, too. I'm torn on which ones. I've got a couple places breathing down my neck to release videos for gear they've sent me. People are impatient on that. Makes you want to not get in gear for the channel, but got to do what you got to do. So yeah, there should be There should be an Obscure Mics video later. There will definitely be some music videos on the Bark channel. I'll throw those in the description here, or the channel after I get done with this. So some content coming today. Maybe a podcast today, maybe tomorrow. There'd be no need for a return. Yep. But yeah, so content coming. Thanks for joining me today on this one of my weaker streams for sure. But I just like talking to you guys. I like reading the comments, responding, and yeah. So yeah, Smyrno, if you want to send me that link, and I'll get the other stuff out. Roman, stay safe, man. I don't know if you're still here or not, but continue to stay safe and positive. It's nice to see you optimistically on the channel and watching. Jefferson, thanks for joining. Opinion Tech, thanks for joining. All of you, thanks for joining. Naughty Bits is gone, but Naughty Bits posts a lot of my stuff to Reddit, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Steve Dave, thanks for coming. And Beresford Productions, thanks for coming. That's what she said. Aberdeen, thanks for coming. Mr. Science, thanks for coming. And Harrison Kim, thanks for coming. I think that's everybody. A personal thanks to everyone. That's what service is all about. Should we play the service song? I was having a real good time with that. Is that playing? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Steve Dave, I gotta pause that now. Steve Dave, I have a few headphone reviews up, and I have a whole bunch more I need to do. One of which, here's one of the sets that I've got to do. Fluid Audio Focus headphones. So I'm just breathing hard. But yeah, I kind of do. I want to do more. These are really interesting, really interesting, and I can't wait to do those. But I am trying to make a binaural, homemade binaural setup before I do that video, because there's some DSP for those that comes with them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I kind of do headphone reviews. I plan on doing more. It's hard sometimes because you aren't hearing what I'm hearing, and headphones are very subjective. So, but they're still fun to just talk about the quality and give an opinion on. So I do. You can check those out. Call to Prayer. Yes. Let's do that again. Maybe we'll just turn it down just a tad. Where's my U control? Where's the tat? Oh, so glorious. All right. Turn that down some. I do like the Revelator IO44 for that reason, to be able to, very easily mix minus stuff. So that's fun. But thanks for joining us. Sunday service. I don't think I said anything blasphemous. I don't think I cursed a whole lot. This was a wholesome one. It was a wholesome one. Good service. I will see you all later. Hallelujah.